is Neil Appleton from Lyons, and I'm joined by my colleague Marika Nasputny from NMBW. And we're presenting Monash College today, and we're presenting on behalf of a wider collaborative, Lyons, NMBW, Studiobird, Gilby Brewin Architecture and Glas Urban, who all collaborated on this large project in the Docklands. Firstly, we acknowledge that we're building on the lands of the First Nations people of the Kulin Nation, that will be welcoming over 10,000 students to the new Monash College, which is a consolidation project. When we put together our collaborative team, the way we thought about it was the experience that those students would have arriving in Australia. And we thought it was very important that we particularly addressed all of these kind of circumstances or experiences for students to create a diverse experience for them from arrival all the way through to becoming curious about our country. And I guess what we did to do that was we structured parts of the project on every level through the building to deal with each one of these experiences as a great way of creating a diversity engine so that there wasn't a monolithic culture. And critically, the idea is a consolidation project, bringing together 4 different campuses for Monash College to the Docklands campus to support those 10,000 students in a much more vital experience in the city. The building was an existing corporate office building located along Collins Street between Southern Cross Station and the Docklands Park and adjacent to the historic goods shed. And it was a very large corporate footprint, 7 that Monash College bought, 42,000 square metres NLA structured over many levels. And I guess one of the things that we tried to think about was how we'd go from a corporate campus, and this was the fit-out diagram for the corporate campus, to a learning campus, and how we would structure that so that the students had both a sense of clarity within the building but also diversity. So we started with the previous corporate entry atrium and started to think of ways that we could firstly centre the atrium and create a new entry at the centre of the building, and also to create a porous entry experience so that there's a more natural wayfinding experience as a student come in with a direct wayfinding to the vertical circulation. Critical to that was creating an arrival from public transport for the students, creating hangout spaces within the undercroft of the entry so that students can feel connected to the city and meet together on the steps before they then transition into a large entry hall, which previously was a compact retail space that then leads them through to an arcade, and we've located this vertical circulation so it can be seen from the entry hall and the arcade. The new circulation to the atrium is adjacent to an event space so that students can basically occupy this as they would in a standard campus, have an event space, but very much the idea that students can own that space. We had to both fix the vertical circulation around the greater student population as well as the atriums, and the fire attenuation strategy was important, but critically we wanted to repurpose those atriums as dedicated student space. The typical new floor layout with the vertical circulation connecting to a very strong east-west street that then connects to a series of atriums as a way of grounding the circulation. Adjacent to those streets are students' kitchens, which I'll return to. We then structured a loop around the cores to get to the educational space and clear wayfinding to areas that students could hang around the classrooms as well. The street and loop are very clear wayfinding devices that not only lead you to the ends, east and west atriums, but also around those loops past this informal student learning. The student kitchens hold those corners of the loop adjacent to the winter gardens, and we engage with some Monash University graphic design students through that process to create a richer lived-in experience. The streets have a combination of student spaces that are designed by a variety of practices, from Studiobird's lounging space, really quite extraordinary, to NMBW and Gilby Brewin's diverse, more kind of cultured and student-specific dedicated learning spaces. And then obviously encouraging active recreation within the space as well with this student space by Gilby Brewin. We refurbished the winter gardens. This is the existing corporate winter garden with an idea of effectively creating 4 unique rainforests. And because we had to enclose the atriums because of the fire strategy, that led to this idea of kind of low light rainforests from around the world. So we have both an Atlantic rainforest, 2 indigenous rainforest species, as well as one from Asia, bamboo, as you can see here. And so those become dedicated areas for students to go and hang out in, kind of in some ways a diverse climatic environment. I'll throw to you, Marika.
Thank you. So as well as those gardens that are actually inside this sort of huge container, we realised that it's really important to take the landscape around, and we had this Docklands landscape ready to interact with. So this corner of the building was really important, particularly on the sort of mid-levels where the treescape could be brought inside the building. So there was a 2-level library, which is an open space rather than separated classrooms. So this could be a shared space. We had a stair in the corner to allow circulation and the fact of moving up and down, meaning that you're always conscious of looking out and around in the building. And of course, seating areas. And then the library itself was designed with the low-level shelving so that you can stand up and see over, and you've always got this sort of extended view towards the trees in Collins Street, for example, as well as the Docklands Park. And this is on level 6, so similar kind of strategy on level 6, which is a more sort of focused learning area, and then bench seating all the way around, so literally looking out towards the street, the landscape. This is that shifting to the loop. So the loop is a way to keep people sort of in a sense of where they are. And this was designed to have identity at different levels, which related to the university that these students were going to go to. So to give some sense of the future as well as the past. So this is a reference to the Caulfield campus, the Peninsula campus, Clayton, and Parkville. And then there's a whole lot of general teaching, so as well as all these breakout spaces. Thank you. A lot of these general spaces. So just a really quick sense that the majority of these teaching spaces are for English language learning. So there's some 3-month turnaround for these students. So there's a lot of new students all the time. But then all the faculties have the first year as an option to teach over 2 years for these people who are needing extra language help. So this is art and design, for example. So everything is repeated in this university, almost university space. So the upper levels have science, for example, but there's also music and business, and everything is repeated in this place. So just to finish up, stop. That's time. So to finish up, just really wanting to note that the students are coming from their different places. This space, this container of Docklands, which is sort of unusable in many ways in a contemporary way, is a perfect sort of protective bubble for these people to come to, learn all these new things, and then move out towards the university that they're going to go to next, the rest of Monash future for them.